Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Guys, how we doing over there today?
Good, real good, real good.
I miss the phony GOAT, don't you? It's just not the same without LeBron James, but at least we got Space Jam 2, right? Maybe he can out-Jordan Jordan in a cartoon.
You a hater.
Huh?
You a hater. Let the man rest in peace.
Where is he resting? Saint what? Saint elsewhere?
Nah,
Got the scoop, Shannon?
Saint-Tropez.
Saint-Tropez, oh.
Yeah.
Must be nice. I would love to be in Saint-Tropez. That sounds perfect to me. Guys, we have a lot to get to today. The Suns, they have been fun to watch. We have to get there eventually. But Skip, your team, the Clippers. So, Shannon, you now have the Jazz winning in 5 games. So I assume you're picking the Jazz to win tonight.
Absolutely. See, I love
Absolutely.
the way I do. I love the way
Absolutely.
the Jazz are playing. And you mentioned something the other day about the adversity that the Clippers overcame, considering what had happened to them last year, being up 3-1, losing, being down 0-2, being down 3-2, and finding ways to win ball games. Well, the Jazz went through a very similar situation with the Denver Nuggets last year. They were up 3-1 and found themselves squandering that away. I love Donovan Mitchell. I love the way he's playing. Skip, he has the 3rd highest scoring playoff average of all active players behind Kevin Durant and LeBron James.
Yep.
That speaks volume. I love the supporting cast. Rudy Gobert, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a difference maker because the things that they could do against the Mavericks, Rudy Gobert will neutralize that.
Yep.
So he's playing well. Bogdanovich had 18 points. Clarkson had 18 points. But Skip, when you go back and look at it, the Jazz, with the exception of Donovan Mitchell, really didn't play particularly well. You look at Donovan Mitchell, he was 16 of 30 from the field. Derek Favors was 1 of 1. Everyone else was less than 50%. I don't believe they play that bad again. So while you saying that, hey, the Clippers got to feel encouraged, I don't think so. I love what I saw from the Utah Jazz. I love it because not only can they take and make threes, they make them in crucial situations. And that's normally the difference in the ball game because we saw Dallas Maverick get off the hot start shooting the 3 ball, and then when it really mattered, late in the ball game in the 4th quarter, they couldn't seem to buy a basket. Skip, but I got an interesting stat for you. I don't know if you knew this, but Paul George has had 10 games in which he shot less than 25% from the field. That's the 3rd most in the shot clock era. So what we're starting to see here.
Playoff games.
Playoff games. So what we're starting to see here, the Paul George that we've seen over the last couple of games, this is more in line with where he is and who he is. So I like the Utah Jazz tonight. Now, I don't know if Mike Conley's going to play. If he rests tonight, that means he wouldn't probably play again. I think the next game would probably be Sunday. So that would give them give him about 10, 11 days off to rest that hamstring. So I'm not sure he's listed as questionable, but I love what I'm seeing from the Utah Jazz. They're built for this moment, and I think last year had a lot to do with how they were able to come back because they found themselves in a very similar situation. Up 3-1, feeling good about themselves, had a lead in a couple of those ball games, and the Nuggets were able to track them down. I don't believe that. They go up 2-0. Katie barred the door.
Katie barred the door. Katie opened the door.
No, Katie ain't opened the door.
I don't know who Katie was, but she is famous, man. She's got to bar that door because it's okay. All right. So here's what I just heard from you, and this is my takeaway from what you just said. You said it was absolutely going to be the Jazz in 5 games, which makes tonight a virtual must-win for your Jazz, right? Because if it's going to be 5 games, you don't want to blow this one because then you'd have to go win 2 at Clippers, and then you'd have to come home and win. That's easy?
Yeah, Dallas did that 3 times.
Well,
Dallas did that 3 times.
Game 7?
That's what I'm saying. But hold on. Yeah. But you won't get to a game 7. So you don't have to worry about what it's going to be like in game 7.
Is this a guarantee tonight that the Jazz are going to win this game?
What you want? You want 2 cases on this game because you keep on poking like you want to. You sloop it around for something. You want 2 cases? Just say you want 2 cases.
Jazz are favored by 3.5. So I'll take the 3.5.
Done.
2 cases.
2 cases.
Thank you.
2 cases.
Because I believe in the Los Angeles Clippers.
You believe in them to win, or you believe in them to cover?
Well, I believe him to win this series. That's all I care about. I pick Clippers in 6. I'm going to stick with Clippers in 6.
Okay.
You have Jazz in 5. So we are on opposite ends of the earth on this one.
We are.
So it's going to swing one way or the other tonight.
Yes.
Game 2 at Utah. They were 4.5-point favorites at Utah, where the Jazz in Game 1. Now it's shrunk a little bit to 3.5. So somebody, some odds maker somewhere is saying, man, I better gear this down a little bit because the Clippers showed me they hung right in there because the final score was 112 to 109. And would you believe the Clippers had the ball in their hands? Rajon Rondo, playoff Rondo, had the ball in his hands. Kawhi Leonard had it in his hands twice. Paul George had it once. And Marcus Morris had it once to shoot a three to tie the game at the end of regulation, right?
Yeah.
So was it a wipeout? Let me ask you, did what happened to the Denver Nuggets twice at Phoenix happen to the Clippers once at Utah? No, it did not.
Not yet, anyway.
Well, that's your point. Did what happened to Milwaukee twice at Brooklyn happen to the Clippers at Utah in Game 1?
Not yet.
No, it has not happened. So you didn't see mismatch, did you? Or maybe you did. Maybe I saw the wrong game. I don't know. Maybe I was on the wrong channel. I don't know.
No.
Did you see a competitive basketball game?
It was a competitive basketball game. You guys were up 13. Utah missed 20 straight shots. Tell me the last time somebody missed that many shots in a row, they got blown out. You remember Houston? They missed 27 straight threes. They lost bad.
Okay. So here's what I saw in the Dallas series. I saw the most amazing comeback in NBA playoff history. I saw the most improbable, impossible comeback I have ever seen because they lost the first two at home, did the Clippers, went to Dallas and quickly fell behind 30-11 on a Friday night before a crazed packed house in Dallas. 30-11. And dug themselves out of that. You can't get a deeper hole than that. Down 30-11 on the road, facing down 0-3. Because at that point, if I had called you up in your palatial estate up in Bel Air, you would have been laughing, saying, it is over. Because you would have said they're about to go down 0-3 and they're not going to be able to dig out of an 0-3 hole, right? But they dug out of an 0-2 down 30-11 hole, and they won Game 3. Against all odds. And they won a game in which Dallas made 23-point shots at home. Never before in NBA playoff history had a team made 20 and lost a home game. But the Clippers did that to the Mavericks. Then the Clippers really did it to them in Game 4 and then came home and just upchucked all over the floor. It looked like the Clippers of old, the ugly stepchild down in the basement of Staples.
Let me ask you this. You believe if Utah made 23, the Clippers going to beat them?
It's never happened. It's only happened one time.
Exactly.
Well, I hope they don't, or I'm probably in trouble.
You in trouble.
If Donovan Mitchell, your man, if he scores 45 tonight, including 16 in the third and 16 in the fourth, I'm in big trouble because they will not be able to overcome that again. So the point is he the best player on the floor? Is he better than Kawhi Leonard? I don't think so.
No.
Because what happened in the Clippers-Dallas series was Kawhi proved to you, slowly but surely, he was the best player on the floor. All I heard from you and Chris Broussard through the first, 5 games was, Luke is the best player on the floor.
He was.
Well, he wasn't.
And
because in the end, it's a 7-game series, and Kawhi Leonard proved he was the best player in that series.
But the difference is, Skip, is that Kawhi and PG could get all the way to the rim. They're not finishing at the rim with Rudy Gobert up under there. You know that, and I know that. Now, see, you got to play Zubats because you can't play Batum, you can't play Paul George behind Rudy Gobert because Rudy Gobert, although he's not the greatest of post-up players, he is smart enough to know when I got a 6'8" guy and I'm 7'2" behind me, I'm going to get 5 feet from the basket. They throw me the ball, and I just turn around and just shoot a little soft sky hook over the top of it.
Who's taller, Boban or Rudy Gobert?
Boban.
Help me out. Boban. Who's taller, Porzingis or Rudy Gobert? Porzingis is, right?
Which player would you rather have, Rudy Gobert, Porzingis, or Boban?
Well, Boban's taller, and he gets in the way just as much as Rudy Gobert gets in the way.
Rudy Gobert just won the Defensive Player of the Year for the third time in 4 years.
I'm glad he did.
So that's the difference.
That usually jinxes the home team when something like that happens.
And it's only ironic that he won that award and had the Defensive Player of the Game, right? So, with that being said,
defensive play of the game, he was just standing there. I mean, Marcus Morris winds up with the ball like, you want me to shoot it because you guys won't?
No, he wasn't just standing there.
No, he was just standing there.
He jumped, and then still was able to come back and block it.
He was already standing there. I mean, they have to shoot a three.
Look where Rudy Gobert is.
Okay.
Rudy is in that lane. Look at Rudy. Look at Rudy.
You have to shoot a three.
Look at Rudy. Look where he came from.
You have to shoot a three.
And jumped again.
He's like 7'2", and that's a great defensive
He came
play?
from the paint.
Is that a great defensive play when you know a 6'6" guy has to shoot a three?
Yes.
And you just get to tower over him?
He came from.
Stop it.
Skip, the man was in the lane.
Oh,
to making sure y'all don't drive.
something.
He deterred you from driving and then closed out without fouling. Give him his credit, Skip.
Several times I saw Kawhi Leonard go right up in his face and score right in his face because that's what Kawhi does to bigger players.
9 of 19? Can I interest you in that? 9 of 19?
Yeah.
What was Paul George?
What was he in the fourth quarter? He scored 13 points with 4 rebounds. I'm about to get to that in just a moment.
you
But
get to
here's
that.
my point about the Dallas series. It launched the Clippers toward greatness. That's what I believe because they reached down and they showed all of us something that I did not know if they had. They had true grit. They had guts, they had character, they had backbone that I did not know they had. And they reached down and found it thanks to their coach, Ty Lue, who's the opposite of Mike Malone, who we're going to talk about in just a moment. Because did Ty Lue ever say a discouraging word through all that terrible abyss that they were in, all the negativity that happened in that series? Ty Lue just kept saying, we're going to be okay. And they were okay.
Right.
So, again, they are on, they got caught. They had, within 48 hours, to have to go on the road to play the best team in basketball. Who had the best record in basketball?
Utah. Right.
So, once again, Shannon Sharpe is the all-time, just like his man LeBron, front runner. So, you're front running with the Jazz.
Time out.
They're favored.
Hold on, time out. Skip.
Yeah, I'm not front running. I'm taking the underdog Clippers.
The Clippers were favored in every game against the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, but are they favored in these? No.
But you took Dallas.
Okay, but who had the best record in the NBA this year? Utah did.
Skip, this is the second round. Okay, so as you go, teams have better records.
Yep.
But that's not what you did in the first great game.
Yep.
The first series, you took the Clippers with their front-running self. Well, hold on. Where's Paul George? Why wasn't he backing it up? Why wasn't he doing the airplane? Where's Pat Bev?
I'll get to that in just a moment. He played in this game.
Who, Pat Bev did?
He played pretty
He
well.
played 22 seconds.
Okay, he played 22 seconds. But I saw a little clip that we had via TNT of your man Donovan Mitchell in the third quarter. He's over there in the sideline huddle, and he's saying, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, they just played a Game 7, like 48 hours ago, and if we just keep the pressure on, they're going to call it quits.
They'll get ready for Game 2. Everybody know they front run. He said, put them to the test. Put that pressure on them, and they'll get ready for Game 2. And right on cue.
Right on cue. I'm glad you brought that up because here's what I see that the play-by-play says. I'm not making this up. I'm not even embellishing or exaggerating. Fourth quarter, with 5:22 left, your Utah front-running Jazz are up 10 points, up 10 in the fourth quarter of a team that is running on empty. It gave every ounce of its soul to overcome the Dallas Mavericks. And guess what happened down the stretch? Would you believe the Clippers, and I believe that the Clippers were told what Donovan Mitchell said because they don't miss a trick, the Clippers. They are one of the top organizations in basketball because Steve Ballmer spares no expense. He's got every little loophole covered. And you don't think somebody got word to the bench, the Clippers coaches, that Donovan Mitchell had said that on national TV?
Spider told them to their face. He said, I just told my team y'all to quit, get ready for Game 2 because you're front runners.
So help me out about front running. All of a sudden, the Los Angeles Clippers, down the last stretch of that game, the last 5 minutes and 22 seconds, won the game 16-9. And guess who led the charge? Your guy, Pandemic P, the guy you have ridiculed more than anybody on this show, the guy that you think has intangibles made of tissue paper, the guy that you have little to no respect for. He scores 7 of their last 9 points and assisted on the one to Kawhi that was the final field goal of those 9 points.
Skip,
he had a hand in the last 9 points, and all of a sudden, it's 112 to 109 with 15 seconds left, and your guy, Donovan Mitchell, has a little bunny shot. It's just a little 18-foot jump shot, and he leaves it so short it barely grazes the front of the rim. That's your guy.
Hold on.
That's your guy.
So you criticizing Donovan Mitchell after he dropped 46 on you, 16 in one third quarter. Hold on. Now
should have been, it's actually 45. He should have been 47, but he missed that. He missed the dagger.
Hold on. Time out. You pride yourself. All you talk about is the fourth quarter. This man missed one shot in the fourth quarter, and somehow you found a way to criticize him?
Well, was that not the dagger? Was the door then left wide open?
He gave you the dagger.
Yep.
The man told you what would happen to your team.
How did the Clippers win the last 5 minutes 16-9? How did they? How did they?
Hold on, time out.
Did they quit like Donovan said they would? No, they did not. Are they going to quit in game 2? You better believe they will not quit.
I just want to know one thing. Are you saying you'd rather win 4 or 5 minutes in the ball game, or would you rather win the ball game?
Did they quit after they had spent themselves against the Dallas Mavericks?
You had a 13-point lead.
Yeah.
I can't tell. You lost by 3. You had a 13-point lead.
Okay, I'll take 2 more cases tonight that Donovan Mitchell does not score 45 or more points. You want that?
They win.
You want it?
They win.
Okay. No guts, no glory.
I bet Kawhi don't score 45. I bet 2 cases he don't score 45.
Why? When does he ever score 40?
He just did it.
I know, but that's rare.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the Clippers spread it around.
How about this here?
They spread the wealth. They are the deepest, most talented team in the West, according to Jeff Van Gundy on ABC. And I'll take that to my bank.
Skip. I bet you 2 cases Paul George don't get 30. Since you love playoff Pete.
Why would I bet that?
Why
would I bet that? I don't need that. I don't need him to get 30. I got too many scores. I got Marcus Morris in game 1, 1 of 9 from 3. I'll bet you 55 cases he doesn't go 1 of 9.
Hold on. So what you think? Ingles is gonna go 3 or 14?
Who do you want, Marcus Morris or Ingles?
I'll take Joe Ingles.
Yeah, well, good.
I take Joe Ingles.
You just did.
I take Joe Ingles.
You just took it.
I take Joe Ingles. I take Joe Ingles.
I say good luck to you.
Jordan Clarkson probably hit y'all up about 25.
I love Jordan Clarkson. I love Donovan Mitchell.
I love him too.
Yeah,
that's
and
why
that's
he on
what
my
you
squad.
got. But I got Kawhi and I got Paul George. And I got Reggie Jackson, and I got Marcus Morris. And do you want me to keep it on? Because I can just keep going down the roster. I got playoff Rondo. I am loaded.
Skip.
I got DeMarcus Cousins, and he had a little glimmer the other night.
Skip, the last three ball games, your boy Rondo played like 12 minutes total. Keep it buck, Skip.
Okay. Again, does my team have a closing problem? Yes, they have had it all year, and I thought Rondo had fixed that. Well, we'll see about that.
The Jazz ain't got no closing problem.
It looked like they did the other night.
Mitch.
Yeah, it looked like Donovan Mitchell missed the closing problem shot.
The man missed 1 shot. But what about the time? Hold on. What about the 3 previous times when he got layups? When he got layups, not jumpers, layups, he went to the paint. He split the double team to Kawhi and laid it up. He went to the right side, laid it up. You want to talk about 1 shot. The man had 32 points in the second half, 16 in each quarter, and you talking about he missed 1 shot. Did you win? At the end of the night, did you win the ball game? No. You had a 13-point lead. The Utah Jazz missed 20. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 straight shots and walked you down. Spotted you 13.
I'm going to give you the bet again. Donovan Mitchell, 45 or more.
He don't need 45.
Why not?
He don't need 45.
Well, I think you do need him because you needed every last drop of him.
Yes.
You needed 32 from him in the second half to walk them down.
That's what
you're going to get it tonight.
That's a great.
You will not get it. You're going to see a different scheme. I told you he's going to be seeing double, as in double team.
I tell you what I will do. I'll give you 2 cases that the Jazz hit at least 23s. Give me 2 cases. 20.
Okay, good. Thank you.
20.
Done.
That's it?
You got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
20. They might hit 22, 23 on you.
Okay. Well, let's do
20.
We already got it for 23.
Dude, I already got 2. I already got you for 2. I already got you. No, I got you. Hold on. Yeah. I got you for 4 cases in this game.
Just like
we got 3.5 points.
You said, I saw you coming.
I saw you.
You got me with those Hawks. I gave you 6.5, and they got obliterated.
That's all right. That's all right.
Shake and bake, baby.
This is how I get you back. Utah Jazz gonna give me about 30 cases back on this series right here. Yep.
I don't think there's 30 bet, but there's enough bet.
There's enough bet.
Yeah. And I'm the one out on the end of the limb as usual. I'm taking the big bad underdog.
They're the underdog. Hold on.
Well, you
got Kawhi, the best player in LA. He's the best. He rivals Kevin Durant as the best player on the planet.
Well, was he? Yeah, he was.
Oh, no.
Did I not predict exactly what was going to happen in game 1? I said he would be running literally on empty, and that's what he was.
No, you can't do that.
You can.
The great players don't get that luxury.
See, in the NBA, they actually play 7-game series as opposed to your sport where they just play 1-game series.
No. You don't know. The Kevin Durant's and the Kawhi Leonard's and the Steph Curry's, the LeBron James, the Giannis's, they don't get to use that luxury. Oh, we played a game 7, we on fumes. Oh, no. I won't let you do that. Because you would have never done that for LeBron James when I tell you he was tired. Oh, the king, Michael Jordan never got tired. Kobe Bryant never got tired. Now you making excuses for Kawhi? I wish you might.
But I first guessed the excuse.
Ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
You can third guess it. Donovan Mitchell, they going home. They're going to beat our 0-2.
Clippers got no excuses tonight because they won't need any.
0-2 on Sunday.
I got 105, 102 visiting team.
You're down 0-2.
I've also got 3.5 points. Thank you.
You're down 0-2.
Yep.
Starting on Sunday.
Okay.
Well, the Suns made a statement in a blowout game to win over the Nuggets. Phoenix led by 10 at halftime, then proceeded to outscore Denver by another 15 in the second half. Nuggets head coach Michael Malone was less than pleased with his team's performance. Take a listen here.
I felt we quit tonight, which is something you never want to see. So I guess for game 3, I'm just going to try to find guys that will at least go out there and leave it all on the line. I may have a hard time coming up with 5 guys that fill that, but these 2 games, these second halves have really been disappointing, and that's an understatement. I saw one team that wanted to be here and play with a purpose and urgency, and one team that did not want to be here and play with no urgency, and that's why we got our ass kicked. This was just an embarrassing performance all the way around, from top to bottom.
Wow, he did not hold back. Shannon, good idea or bad idea for Michael Malone to say this postgame?
Well, Skip, this is who he is. This is how he coached. Remember, he did the same thing. I think they got blown out in against Portland, and he said something very, very similar. Now, either one or two things happened. Either they quit or Phoenix made them quit. But, Skip, this is unacceptable. Because when you look at Nikola Jokic, he gave you 24, 13, and 6.
What's unacceptable? That
the way they're playing. The second.
Oh, how they're playing, not what he said.
No, not what he said. Yeah, how they're playing.
Yes.
Because these games are really close, and then all of a sudden the third quarter is like the Nuggets. Like, I don't know what happened. We saw this because in the third quarter of the first game, Skip, the Nuggets had a 7, 8, 9 point lead.
Yep.
And then they allowed them to go on a 16-0 run. And then they never looked back. This game, once the third quarter hit, this wasn't even close. This got out of hand. It got all the way up to over 30.
Yep.
Jokic had 26. The other starters had Jokic had 24. The other starters had 26. Jokic had 13 rebounds. The other starters had 11 rebounds. Jokic had 6 assists. The other starters had 4 assists. Skip, they can't even get Jokic to the fourth quarter because the games have gotten so out of hand. Malone just basically said, we just got to go ahead and save you. We're not going to put the minutes on your legs. So they can't even get into the fourth quarter because when he comes out of the third, resting into the fourth, the games are out of hand, and Mike Malone just says, go ahead and stay over there, big fella. They got to get better than this. I get it. Michael Porter Jr., he looked like he was struggling last night with that back injury, Skip. And, coming out of college, he had that back problem. They didn't shoot the ball from 3 early, got them in a hole, and what did Phoenix do? Phoenix tied their playoff record, 18 threes, just like they did in Game 6. But, Skip, you can't, Aaron Gordon. But here's the thing, Skip. If you're going to pin your playoff hopes on Rivers, Compazio, Skip, are you really a championship contending team? If your hopes are pinned to guys like that, come on. Austin Rivers has carved out a nice niche. But, Skip, he's been on 5, 6 different teams. Compazzo is 30. He's a rookie. That should tell you something.
Okay.
Aaron Gordon, I don't know, bro, 3 of 13, 2 of 9 from 3, 11 points, minus 26. Yoke can only give you so much. He's only playing 30 minutes a night, Skip, but he's giving you solid numbers. DeAndre Ayton has been unbelievable. But what's happening because they can't make shots, you got Ayton that's over 7 foot tall behind him, and guess what? Jay Crowder collapsed down, steals the ball. Mikal Bridges collapsed it down. Chris Paul is playing him because they can't. And so now, what do? But they got to play better than this. And again, nobody took more than 14 shots for Phoenix, Skip. And you got 6 guys with double figures, all of them around somewhere between 17, 16, 18, got 6 guys in double figures, and nobody's taking more than 14 shots. It's not like Booker's lighting them up. Skip, he was 6 for 14. So what happens if he has one of those games where he's 50% from the floor? Chris Paul's doing whatever he wants. Chris Paul starts dancing on them in the third quarter, putting them out of their misery. But no, Mike Malone is absolutely correct. One or two things happen. Either you quit or Phoenix beating you so bad they made you quit. But this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable for a team that played as well as they did. 98 points? Nah. Hell no.
What's unacceptable is what the coach keeps doing after they stink it up, because it comes across as the coach is saying, don't look at me, look at them. And you know the old story, the old fable about the boy who cried wolf. Remember this?
Yeah.
You keep crying, you keep saying you see wolves. Well, after every loss, he's got some new diatribe that he aims at his team, right? They're soft, they're scared, they're this, they're that, and last night they quit. And after a while, it just rings hollow, because if you watched him, he had actually written a speech before he got up to the podium to speak on the Zoom call, right? He'd actually made notes of what he wanted to say. So it was premeditated, and I think it was contrived.
Yeah.
It's phony anger at your team as a way to, A, take some blame off you, and B, try to relight a fire that you can't light, because you keep going to this, you keep trying to use the same kerosene on the fire, and it no longer works anymore because it's starting to ring hollow to them. Because again and again, he's making references off his notes. What are you reading?
I'm looking at it. Skip the shot 4 for 22 for 3 in the first half.
I'm talking about Mike Malone.
That's
right
what I'm
now.
saying.
Okay. So the point is that they are undermanned at the guard spot, obviously. And this is just me. Jokic he's the MVP, he's your guy, and yet he's not a leader. He doesn't have takeover body language, and he is a terrible defender. And last night, he was at his worst on defense because it was a super highway to the basket for the Phoenix Suns. If you look at points in the paint, it was 44. They had 44 points in the paint. It's just like whenever they wanted a layup, they got a layup, because Jokic just stands and watches. But that's his normal body language. He looks like he doesn't give a you-know-what half the time, because that's the way he plays, because he's never too high or too low.
Right.
But he can go ahead and produce stats with bad body language, but the rest of the team cannot. So Mike Malone goes on and on about how embarrassing the performance was, and he's saying, if we think we can go back to Denver and play like we did tonight and win, it's going to be a quick series.
Right.
And he says, literally, I saw guys say, hey, I'm not making any shots tonight. I'm just going to walk around and mope.
Yes.
Well, okay. I
Did you
got
see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that. But again, when you keep trying to do the same thing after every game, that we quit. And then our man Chris Haynes early in the game reported that he had heard after game 1 in the locker room that the whole team got called out by, you ready for this, Aaron Gordon and JaMychal Green. And I'm thinking, they called out the team? They just got there. Are they the only things you got that are semblances of leaders on this team?
But if
if you told me that Jamal Murray had done it, even though he's hurt, then I'd say, okay, because he's a team leader. In fact, I think he is the team leader.
Right.
But he's obviously not there.
But here's the thing, Skip. You know how this works. If you call somebody out one game, what must you do the next game? Mm-hmm. You got the ball out. You got to play hard. Yep. How you call somebody out and then you go out there and score 6 points on 3 of 7 shooting? Yep. You minus 26. JaMychal Green was 2 of 5, 4 points. So how the hell y'all gonna call somebody out and then you go out there and lay an egg the next game? No, Skip, look. I know what I've noticed about you. Now, you like Michael Malone. When he was taking shots, no. You didn't have a problem when Michael Malone taking shots at LeBron.
Oh, that was great.
Exactly.
Yeah,
now, all of a sudden, you got a problem with what he said.
But that wasn't some premeditated, contrived shot at LeBron. That was just the God's truth. It was unvarnished, unedited. He just spilled out.
This unvarnished.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure he get his words right.
Was he not an assistant coach for LeBron in Cleveland his first go-around?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. And I don't remember the exact quote now that you bring it up, but it was something about how LeBron's not as mentally tough. He's not the cold-blooded killer that Jordan was.
LeBron just spent 100 days in the bubble. that cracked everyone else.
Okay, that's not cold-blooded killing on the basketball court. And LeBron lucked out so much because AD saved him with that shot in Game 2 against Mike Malone's Denver Nuggets. They watched as LeBron froze when the play was called for him. Rondo said, I locked eyes with LeBron. He did not move. And so he had to whip it at the last second to AD, who made the three. And then how lucky was LeBron in the bubble when they end up playing the 5 seed in the East in the finals, and the 5 seed Miami immediately loses 2 of its best players in Dragic and Bam in Game 1. Really?
Just look at it. Okay, the Nuggets scored 98 points last night in the 4 wins against Portland, 120, 126, 128, 147. The Suns haven't given up over 109 points in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Now, the Suns are a very good defensive team. They play really good. They got 8 man in the paint. We know Dre Crowder plays defense. Mikal Bridges plays defense. Chris Paul is an all-NBA defensive point guard. So we know what he represents. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be – you're not going to get the points like you got against Portland because Portland tries to outgun you. They don't have anybody that play. Covington plays defense. He was on the All-NBA team. But Cantor can't play defense. Nurkic stays in foul trouble. That's not CJ and Dames. That's not their forte. I get that. So I don't expect the Nuggets to score 118, 120, anything like that. Yeah. But, Skip, you can't shoot 1 for 13 in the first quarter and expect you basically shot yourself out of it. And they were still there. Even though until late in the ball game, late in the first half, they're right there with them. They are ahead by 2. They're right there 3 points behind. And then for some reason, the third quarter, Seattle, Phoenix is able to get major separation. It's like they miss a shot, Phoenix get a bucket. They miss a shot, Phoenix get a bucket. And the next thing you know, Skip, like Mike Malone says, everybody moving around, man. I ain't hitting no shot. Well, okay, you didn't hit a shot. Can you guard somebody? Can you stop somebody from getting an offensive rebound? Can you put a body on somebody?
All I know is Phoenix is a handful right now.
Yeah, the Phoenix is playing really well.
They're so balanced because in Game 1, they had 4 or 5 starters score 20-plus points. Right. And then look at this last night. Booker has 18. CP3 has 17. And then Bridges has 16, and Ayton has 15, and then you go down to Crowder, who had 11 but made 3 or 4 threes, and then first player off the bench is Torrey Craig, and he has 10. So you go 18, 17, 16, 15, 11, 10. It's hard to beat because everybody is hurting you. Yes. Right? Yeah. Okay? That's a basketball team.
But, Skip, look, it's not like they got a whole bunch of guys that are elite one-on-one players. That's Devin Booker and Chris Paul, basically the guys that create their own shot. They're the guys that can put the ball on the court and go get their own. Cameron Payne can do a little bit of that himself. But for the most part, the other guys are reliant. DeAndre Ayton is not taking the ball. He's not Yoke.
Yep.
Jay Crowder is not putting the ball on the floor getting buckets. That's not what Mikal Bridges is. They're reliant. And they're getting these double-figure points because guys are just standing around looking at them, letting them shoot. Yep. Get a hand on the play. Close out.
So the biggest problem Mike Malone has is that after the game, the newly crowned MVP says, I don't think our guys quit. When you're losing a lot, you can always kind of put your head down, but I'm not sure that we quit. I didn't quit.
No, he didn't.
Okay, well, he probably doesn't love that his coach keeps playing the quit card after games.
Yeah, and if I'm his coach, I'm tired of y'all getting blown out by 30 in the third quarter.
Okay. Well, it feels like they're about to get blown out twice at home, and this is going to be a quick series.
Well, they better win Game 3 because you're getting swept if you don't win Game 3.
I'm going Suns in 4 in this one.
Oh, you going sweep, huh?
Yep. I'm going sweep. It smells like a sweep.
I say Yo has a monster.
Okay.
And they win a close one.
Okay. Well, he has lots of monsters and they don't win. So.
No.
All right, we're going to leave it for now. I want to talk about Tom Brady. Yeah. You know I love the guy. And Brady seems recovered from his offseason knee procedure and hasn't been shy talking about his knee since. Yesterday, Brady told reporters that it started bothering him in April or May of last year. Despite it happening before the season, Brady never showed up on any injury reports because the team reportedly wasn't aware of it. Take a listen to what Brady had to say about it yesterday.
It was a injury I dealt with really, since last, April, May. And, I knew I would have to do something at the end of the year, and happy I did it. And it was probably, something that was certainly needed to be done, and there's a great outcome. So I'm very happy about that. I feel I'll be able to do some different things this year than I was able to do last year.
Shannon, I start with you. Are you buying that the Bucs didn't know?
Hell no. Clyde Christensen knew. That's what he said, right? Clyde Christensen said.
Well, he knew after the fact.
Oh, now he knew after the fact.
Well, I mean, you can't presuppose that he knew off what his quote was. So his quote was just last week.
So how we presuppose that it started bothering him in April or May? Well, I love how you do this. I love how whatever Tom Brady says is the gospel. LeBron James, you saw LeBron James get his ankle rolled, and then you pretend he was not hurt.
See, I love how you pretend he wasn't hurt.
Yes, you did.
I saw him continue to play in that game. Did you see that?
Did he play the rest of the game? Did he play the rest of the game? No, he did not.
Jog up the court? Yeah, he did.
See, this, again, it's not good enough. Ladies and gentlemen at home, sports is really not wins. It's not about wins and losses. Although that's what we do. We do keep score. But it's about stories. It's about narratives. Tom Brady had the greatest narrative maybe for an NFL player. Obviously, you can make the case Peyton when he had the neck surgery and missed 18, 19 months and comes back. But Tom Brady spent 20 years at one organization. He leaves that organization and goes to a team that hadn't been to the playoffs since 2007. And in his first year, he goes to and wins the Super Bowl. But that's not a good enough story. I need to embellish it. I need to tell you that in order to get to Tampa, Tom Brady hitchhiked. No, let me take that back. He walked like they do the Appalachian Trail. He walked 2,000 miles from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way down to Tampa. Because I got to make the story more compelling than what it already is. It's just not good enough.
Are you saying he's lying about having knee surgery?
I'm saying what I'm saying.
Well, no, say it.
I'm saying that it was not good enough for Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl after leaving one team. They needed to embellish the story.
Is he lying about knee surgery?
If he did not, the NFL should fine the Tampa Bay Buccaneers $10 million because you've got to be on the injury report if you're injured. And for 20 straight weeks, he never made it. So they should give him a fine. I think the maximum fine is $250,000. So ever how much 250,000 times 20, that's what the Buccaneers should be fined.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
I want to get you on record. Do you believe he did not have knee surgery after the season?
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what you're saying.
No, I didn't say that.
Saying it.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I'm saying if it was that bad, if the knee bothered him that bad, he'd have had the surgery in April or May. So clearly it was not an issue.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. So here's my answer to this question. First, I ask a big picture question. Who raised Tom Brady in pro football, speaking of those 20 years in New England? Who taught him everything he knew about how to play the game sort of on and off the field? It would be one, Bill Belichick. What do I always say about Bill Belichick? He's got some scoundrel in him, right? He got busted for Spygate. He's been accused of other violations of league rules. Am I right about that? Yep. And that's how Tom learned to, quote unquote, play the game. So do I believe that he told anybody else in the Buccaneers organization that he had some torn cartilage? Yes, I do. I believe he told Bruce Arians, and I believe he told Clyde Christensen, his quarterback coach, and I definitely believe he told Byron Leftwich, his coordinator.
But you said he didn't tell Clyde Christensen.
No, I'm saying he did. But you're saying we're just going off the quote that was last week. Well, he could have just been talking about his knee surgery. I'm saying that you're right about, I'm just guessing that he told all of them because you wouldn't keep that. It was such a nagging problem. You would tell your coaches about it and say, I can manage it. I can get through it, but there are things I can't do. I can't.
Like what?
Like moves. There's some movements.
He can never move.
Oh, baloney. He has the sweetest pocket feet I have ever seen.
Skip.
Hey, seriously, then you don't know football if you don't know that.
I understand that.
It takes movement. It takes athletic ability. It's why he got drafted by the Montreal Expos in baseball.
Let me ask you a question.
He's got ability.
He played catcher. You don't need to be able to move that dude to be catcher.
Well,
but let me ask you this, Skip. Do you think that injury would hamper him more or a guy like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray?
Obviously.
Okay, that's my point.
But you're going side to side. You're avoiding the rush. He got the snot kicked out of him in Chicago. He took as much punishment in that game as I saw any quarterback take all year because he wasn't moving quite the way he used to move.
What about Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
He's over the hill.
What about Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl? He took that kind of punishment?
Yeah. Did he take it in Chicago?
Yeah.
He did. Yes, he did. He was getting rocked by Khalil Mack. All game long, he was getting hit and hit some more, and I believe he got concussed in that Thursday night game at Chicago.
Okay.
But the point is that he gave the Buccaneers plausible deniability because he did not miss a practice unless they gave him the
Well, yeah, they gave him
off.
time. Yeah, they took,
okay,
yeah.
but every practice that he was supposed to practice,
Right.
he practiced
Right.
all year. He was never in danger, to my knowledge, of missing a game. So they omitted him from the injury report because they did not want anybody to know about the knee, because you don't want the opposition to know that he's got one knee that's a little bit of a problem, because you don't want them going after that knee or just knowing about the knee, talking to him during the game about the knee. You don't want to make it an issue. So he's actually doing the opposite of what to embellish the story. What LeBron would have done is he would have posted it on IG the first day that he did it. I got a problem, but I'm gonna tough through it. That's what LeBron would do.
Okay, that's what
he
you
would
got.
publicize it.
So, but in other words,
This had to be publicized lately because
Why?
he actually had knee surgery.
but
you can't keep that
yes, you
under
can.
wraps.
I guarantee you there are 20 guys that had surgery in football that we don't know anything about.
He's the GOAT and the winner of a seventh Super Bowl.
Skip.
You can't keep that. Do you
Yes,
think you
you
can
can.
sneak into a hospital and get
Yes.
away with it? I don't think you can.
Yes.
Not that guy. He's too big. You think LeBron could have surgery without it leaking? No.
This is what I love. I love how you say, well, he learned how to keep things a secret from Bill Belichick. But everything that Coach Belichick taught him basically in New England, he went opposite against it in Tampa. He's out there having a good time. He's on social media. He's doing all this talking, things that he never did in New England.
Mm-hmm.
But now when it comes to this, Coach Belichick taught him, and that's why he kept it close to the vest. No, I'm not going to let you have it both ways, Skip Bayless.
Well, he did have a sensational season. Pro Football Focus ranked him or graded him the third best quarterback in pro football during the regular season.
I didn't debate that. That's my point. You had such a great season. Why do you need to embellish it?
Think about this. He did it with a team that went 7-9 the year before with no preseason because of COVID, and he played with torn cartilage.
Thank you.
Oh.
That's my point.
Yep.
Now you got my point. Skip, see, that's my thing. You making my point.
No,
he did all those things.
I'm just stating a fact.
No.
He did do that.
Yeah.
He did play with torn cartilage.
It didn't bother him that bad. Because anybody that has to have surgery, they have surgery. So clearly it wasn't an issue. It didn't impede anything. But it's great to say now because you won the Super Bowl. Because it's kind of like the Calvin Johnson story. Calvin Johnson ran 4.33 in somebody else's shoes. Come on, people.
So the Tom Brady soundbite we just saw, he says, the surgery had a great outcome, and I can do some different things next year, indicating that he was somehow handicapped, limited by the torn cartilage last year. So you were calling him a liar.
I want to know the person that had surgery and said the surgery did some bad things. And now I can't.
Boy, that's
really,
happened a lot.
See, really, Skip?
Well, it has happened a lot.
What star says it? What professional athlete says it?
Well, you hear it after the fact a lot.
Exactly.
I had knee surgery. Dwayne Wade, I had full-blown knee surgery in Marquette, and it was never the same. It was a bad job. The inference was they didn't do a very good job with
But he probably didn't have, I don't know the surgery that Tom Brady had, but maybe it was a little clean up, like you said, little snip, a little clean up or something like that.
Well, that's what cartilage surgery is.
But Skip, don't do that. But don't do that, Skip. Come on. Let the man, what he accomplished should be a standalone. That should be plenty good enough without you adding yeast and trying to make it bigger than what it is.
I'm not adding yeast. I'm adding facts.
No, Skip,
And
no
now
fact.
he said at the Super Bowl last year, I will be better and we will be better next year. And that's just on repetition and
So they got nothing to do with the knee. So they got nothing to do with it. They're going to be better because of repetition,
Well,
and they're a year removed, and they're another year in the system.
I can do some different things.
Well, like what?
Like move a little better in the
You
pocket.
can't move no better in the pocket. You ain't going to move no better in the pocket.
Watch.
Stop it.
Watch.
You make it seem like make it seem like what Tom Brady did, his knees, his lower body is tied to his mobility. And his mobility is tied to him getting outside of the pocket and making plays. Stop it. He's not Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. The little bit that he's moving, that's why he's able to do that. That's why he's able to play so long, Skip. Because Tom Brady's ability is not tied to his athleticism. That's how you play 20-plus years.
So the New Testament had doubting Thomas, and on this show we've got doubting Tom because you are doubting Tom.
I just
you
don't,
always
I
doubt Tom.
I don't like the embellishment. I don't like the embellishment. It's not good. See, because everybody else that comes out, why would you mention that? Why would you say that? That's just to build an excuse. But now Tom does it, and you're like, okay with it.
Oh, they got away with it because they did have plausible
I'm saying you're okay with it.
Am I okay with them omitting him from the injury report? No, I'm not. I mean, that's a pretty clear violation. If you have surgery right after the season, something was going on during the season, and he admits it was April, May that he did it. I have no idea how he did it, but it happens. It happens to everybody. And he muddled through the year. Now, Joel Embiid is trying to muddle through the playoffs.
So now he muddled through. See?
Well, he did.
Now the story, the legend grows. It's not good enough he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl on a bum knee. Wow.
Well, he is the GOAT.
Wow.
And now he's even more of the GOAT than GOAT. He's even a greater GOAT than you do.
No, he's not.
He just won his 7th Super Bowl at age 43 with torn cartilage.
See? You see how the story? You see the story? Jenny, you see the story? Where it's going, Jenny?
Is that a lie? Is that a lie? No. Unless you say that he's lying about having knee surgery. And if he's
misspeaking the truth.
He's not, he's misspeaking the truth. So Shannon Sharpe is calling Tom Brady a liar. That's what you're saying. You're saying he's lying about having knee surgery. That's what it boils down to. That's what you have said that again and again without exactly saying those words. That's what you're implying.
I question the veracity of the seriousness of the injury.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. Is surgery? Do you have to go in and get knocked out and maybe spend the night? Maybe you can go home.
Hell, I had a root canal.
Okay.
That's not the same as having your wisdom teeth taken out. Is it? There's degrees. There's 11 degrees. Okay, open heart surgery, a kidney transplant, that's surgery. Is that the same as arthroscopic knee surgery? Stop it, Skip Bayless. You know there's degrees to this. And I love how you try. Bill Belichick told you. He didn't have open heart surgery. Remember when he cut his hand? What did Coach Belichick tell you?
He played the AFC Championship game against Saxonville with 12 stitches in the palm of his throwing hand.
What did Coach Belichick tell you?
It was cut on Wednesday ahead of the Sunday game.
What did Coach Belichick tell you?
Wasn't exactly open heart surgery.
Thank you.
Ever try to throw a football with 12 stitches in your hand?
You ever try to
make it go straight?
Ever try to throw a football, have to have an open heart surgery? Well, he didn't do that. That's what Coach Belichick said. So I would take that to my Coach Belichick bank.
Tom Brady, Shannon Sharpe has called you out again and says you did not have knee surgery. You lied about it. That's what he said, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Time for a trending story brought to you by the all-new Liberty Mutual. Only pay for what you need. Giannis and the Bucks find themselves down 0-2 to the Nets, but they'll be home for Game 3. The Nets are heavy favorites to win the series, but Milwaukee finds themselves as 3.5-point favorites according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Tonight's must-win game in so many ways. So Shannon, Giannis and the Bucks make it a series by winning tonight.
Well, they got to, Skip. They either win this game or they're getting swept. And if they get swept, this is going to look very, very bad on Giannis. Although Chris Middleton had played terrible the first 2 games, Skip, he's 13 of 43. True Holiday hadn't played much better. He's 13 of 29. They have to play better. But when you're the superstar, you take the lion's share of the blame. And Giannis is a 2-time MVP. He's a defensive player of the year. He's an all-NBA player. He's going to get the lion's share of the blame. And his legacy is going to take a huge hit. Now, Skip, he can redeem himself because we've seen guys struggle early on. We saw LeBron James go a decade without winning a title before he won it and changed the way people think. We saw Kevin Durant, the same thing, lose early on. There have been very few superstars that come in the league and win right away, Skip. You know, you get Magic Johnson coming straight out of college off an NCAA title, and everybody's like, well, that's how it's supposed to happen. You get Larry Bird winning a title in his, Larry won 3 in his first 7 years, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's how it happened. No. You look at Mike. It wasn't until 91 that Mike won after his first 7 years in the league. But, Skip, and even though these guys, Mike lost, Skip, to go out like this, I'm not surprised the Nets won the first 2 games, Skip. I'm really not, because I understand the firepower that they possess. Even James Harden, without James Harden being there, Kyrie and KD is as skilled perimeter players as we have in the league. So I'm not surprised that they beat the Bucks. But the ease in which they're doing it, I'm shocked. At one point in time, being down by damn near 50, no, you can't do, not the playoff game, Skip. And when you got Holiday and you got Middleton and you got Giannis, guys that have been to the All-Star game, guys that have been All-NBA players, and that can defend like they can defend, and to be losing like this, Blake Griffin is out playing Giannis. Blake Griffin is out playing him.
It's a fact.
So you can't have this. This is unacceptable. Giannis, bro, you have to go back to the drawing board. You're gonna have to be able to shoot. You have to be able to shoot the ball better than what you're shooting it. I mean, from the free throw line, from the mid range, forget the three. Maybe he's never gonna be a great 3-point shooter, Skip. And that's okay, because there've been a lot of great guys have great careers without shooting the three. But I don't really know if he's ever going to reach his maximum potential if he can't consistently knock down 15-footers, if he can't consistently knock down foul shots. Skip, he got to be 70, at least 70% to a 10.
So who wins tonight?
You know what, Skip? I'm gonna ride with the Bucks one more time. I'm gonna ride with them one more time. I just, it's hard for me to believe that a team that have the offensive players that they have is going to go down 0-3, and especially without a fight. So I'm gonna take them in a close ball game.
I've been driving the Nets bandwagon all year, and I'm going to just continue to drive it right on to Milwaukee and right over the top of Giannis and company in Game 3 and Game 4. And I think this is going to be over quickly because I think they're going to get swept.
Wow.
So what do I see with Giannis's Bucks? You know, I have respect for his ability. Obviously, during the regular season, he is the PER prince of the league, and he is a back-to-back MVP winner. And I take none of that away. But when it comes playoff time, what do I see happen? I don't see a team or a superstar with what I would call playoff backbone. Because look at what the recurring pattern here has been. Look, go back to the first year Giannis and company make the playoffs, 2015. They lose in the first round of the Bulls. Average margin of defeat was 21 points. So when they lost, they got crushed. And then it's the Raptors the next year. They lose in 6. Average margin of defeat was 11. So it wasn't too bad, but still 11. You're getting double-digit beaten when you get beat.
Right.
Celtics in 7 in 2018. Average margin of defeat was 10. Then we go to 2019. So we look. They sweep the Pistons when they have the advantage, the physical advantage. They just dominate.
Right.
He can dominate the way nobody in this league can dominate. They sweep them by an average margin of 24 points a game. Then they beat the Celtics in 5 in the next round. This is 2019. Average margin of win is 16. But then they run into Toronto, and they lose 4. They win the first 2, and then they lose 4 in a row by an average margin of defeat of 9. So when they crumble, they just fall all apart, right? And then last year in the bubble, what did they do? Well, they beat the Magic in the first round. Average margin of victory was 15, so they're just crushing them. And then they run into Miami. And Miami beats them in 5, but in the 4 losses, they lose by an average of 9 points. And then we see it again this year. First round, what did they do? Well, they swept the Heat this year by an average margin of victory of 21 a game. Swept them.
Right.
And now they've lost back-to-back games at Brooklyn by an average of 24 points. So if they have the edge, they can front run on you and just dominate you and crush you.
Right.
But if they start off wrong, they don't have like a reservoir of toughness where they reach down and say, no, not tonight. We're going to fight back. They don't fight back.
Skip, if you look at what they did against the Heat, they shot the 3 really well.
Yeah.
But Skip, the advantage that they have, if you think about it, the Nets are a small team. They don't play a true big.
Well, I mean, DeAndre Jordan is DNP City. He just doesn't play anymore.
And Claxton comes in.
He's okay. I think he's okay. I don't know.
You can't. Blake, look.
Nicholas Claxton.
You can't let Blake.
He is 6'11".
Giannis, you cannot let Blake Griffin take you one-on-one.
I agree. Yeah.
You can't.
And by the way, I got to say this. Speaking of Blake, I've watched him so closely since his 2 years at the University of Oklahoma. I have never seen a player transform himself through his career the way Blake has. Never have I seen it. It reminds me of what George Foreman did in boxing. Because remember, early on, he's this glowering, menacing bully, right? This intimidator who just terrifies people and doesn't even speak to the media.
Right.
And the next thing I know,
everybody hated him, and then everybody loved him.
Then he becomes the most beloved boxer.
He's doing
ever.
every commercial. He's doing Meineke. He got the George Foreman grill skip. He's selling everything.
He's selling grills. And he's something. He's like the sweetest man that ever boxed, right?
Skip, you know what happened with Blake? Expectations change.
Well,
you see, when you get a max contract with the Clippers, you're the savior. You get a max contract with Detroit, you're the savior. Now you're the fourth option. You're the third or fourth option. You let Kyrie, you let Harden, you let KD do what they do. And all I got to do, Skip, grab me a couple of rebounds. They throw it to me. I'm rolling to the basket. I flush it home.
Okay. Now
the
think
roles
about
are
this.
different.
Think about what he was at the University of Oklahoma. What was the book on him? Couldn't make a shot from more than a foot from the basket.
Right.
And he was, quote unquote, soft. He needed his older brother to be his enforcer and bodyguard, because the book in the Big 12 on Blake Griffin, the University of Oklahoma, was rough him up early and he will shrink.
Right.
And then he goes first overall in the Steph draft. I was pushing hard for Steph to go first overall. But Blake goes first to the Clippers, and the next thing I know, he's leaping over the hood of a car and winning the dunk contest. And he is the it kid, right? He is it because he can jump out of the gym.
Yes.
And he struggled because of expectations, because he couldn't live up to that.
Right.
He fought with Chris Paul. They fell apart. The Lob City fell apart. He bounces around, couldn't live up to expectations. Detroit. And all of a sudden, he winds up with the Nets.
Right.
And he realizes, wait a second, there's a role for me here. There's it's a sweet little role, but I got to play this.
Right.
So what does he turn himself into? He's a really good three-point shooter, like a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. He'll make 38% of those, which it works, man.
Yes.
And what else is he? You remember Kurt Rambis?
Yeah.
He's turned himself into Kurt Rambis. I know our younger viewers don't know Kurt, but he was just like a hockey player, like an enforcer, he just listen. Every night,
of the dirty work.
He does all the dirty work. He leads that team in hustle points because he dives for every loose ball. He fights for every rebound. He scraps, he shoves, he pushes in a good way. He just fights his guts out.
And I think, Skip, at this juncture, a lot of times guys in their career at this point, he's made a ton of money. He made $250 million.
He did.
Now let me try to shoot him.
Let me do this. Yeah. But you got to swallow a bunch of pride to do this, right?
Well, Skip, it's easier when you know you don't possess the same physical abilities as you did 8-9 years ago.
Right.
So now you can come in, it's easier for you to say, and then you look around and see what I'm playing with. Damn, KD, Harden, Kyrie. Oh, yeah, I got me a roll. Hey.
And by the way, that team's deep, too.
Yes.
You look around, you say, we got talent, man.
Right. Whew. So, Skip, it's just hard for me. It's hard for me to believe that the Bucks is not going to. They got to be made of something, Skip. They got to be. I mean, you gave me all the numbers and how when they lose big. But come on, I know Giannis got something in there.
So there's not even a Jeff Green right now, who was kind of the guts and glue veteran leader this team needed. And they said he was going to try to play, and now it looks like game 4.
Right.
He's got plantar fasciitis. Right. So there's obviously no Harden and no Jeff Green. And sort of Blake has taken over the Jeff Green role for them. But the point is, I believe that KD and Kyrie are driven to get even with Giannis for what he did to James. Because he took on James. Remember when he's selecting the All-Star lineups? Got the quote right here. He said, I want somebody who's going to pass the ball. So he takes Kemba over James Harden.
Well, Charles goaded him.
He did.
Because you asked him, told me he wasn't going to select the dribbler.
You don't want the dribbler.
Right, exactly.
All right. And then after that All-Star game, Giannis says, we went with whoever James Harden was guarding. So he even took a shot at him on defense as well.
Right.
And then James fired back at him and said, when all's said and done, I just wish I could run and be 7 feet tall and just dunk. That takes no skill at all. And he's indicating that, well, does Giannis really understand how to play basketball? Well, that's up for debate right now.
And you know what, Giannis? We need to see that Defensive Player of the Year. We need to put that thing on display. Because Kevin Durant kicking your ass right now.
He is.
I mean, I'm not saying, look, you're not going to stop him, but can you at least make it tough on him? Can you at least pinch him so that he feels something as he's blowing by you? You got to do something, bro. You're a Defensive Player of the Year. Kevin Durant making you look like an average guy. And it shouldn't be like that. Skip, I thought, we can't stop these other great players, but we can make it difficult on him. He ain't even making it difficult on KD.
No, he did not. So the point is, what two players really enjoy shutting down an away crowd more than KD and Kyrie. It's these two. They love this because their skill is, obviously just on pure skill. There's no duo more.
Somehow
skill.
Kevin Durant has adopted the villain role. Ever since ever since he went to Golden State, he said, "Okay, this way y'all view me. Okay, fine."
And now so is Kyrie.
Kyrie, yep.
Yeah.
Kyrie said, "Oh, y'all don't. Okay, fine,
So
whatever."
they will love being the villains tonight if they can just turn down the crowd, right? Turn down the noise by just making shots.
If I'm Giannis, I go borrow, Harley Davidson's right there, man. Well, hey, go borrow one of those and pull up at the game on a Harley. Let them know that you for real.
We'll pull up inside on it, right?
Yeah.
Drive it up the tunnel.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, you matter of fact, introduction. I'm going to ride the Harley to center court.
You would do that.
Yeah. KD, that's how comfortable I feel tonight to let you know what's about to happen.
You're the guy who once skydived into Mile High. What was the occasion? I don't even know what the occasion
I was going into the Ring of Honor.
Oh, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's an entrance.
Yeah.
I mean, what if I could have done that for a game, though, Skip? You think they'd let me do that for a game?
No.
Well, I don't know if Mike Shanahan would. Somebody might.
No, absolutely
Jerry
not.
Jones would let you do it for a game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, Jerry would. Money. Yeah. That price going up, yo, baby. Put that time in, get that money out, money out. Put that time in, get that money out, money out.
Back in business.
Get that money out, money out.
Here we go.
I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of that video. I'm smiling. I love it. Well done, Undisputed crew. Dak Prescott just signed his second huge contract of the year after already signing a 4-year extension with the Cowboys that gave him a record $66 million signing bonus. Dak is now making an endorsement switch, guys. The quarterback will be leaving Adidas and signing a new deal with Jordan Brand, according to sources. It's a 5-year deal that will make him the highest paid NFL player with the Jordan Brand and the only quarterback. Yes, money is the appropriate discussion. Shannon, will Prescott be able to live up to all the money he's making?
Skip, the question, so I think the way you're asking this is that multiple championships. I believe he has to win one. If he wins one, I believe it will be, I think you will agree it will be justified. Just one.
I'll buy that.
Just one.
Yep.
Because, $75 million in year one, I think he's making 107 over the first, 13, 14 months because he got the 31 last year, Skip. So with that being said, I think if he wins a championship, he'll pay the deal off. Now, Skip, Jordan Brand, and they're getting into the football. But, Skip, a football cleat is not like a basketball cleat.
I agree.
And because it's specifically designed for one thing, to be worn on a grass field. It's not like basketball. I can wear it with jeans. I can wear it with shorts. I can wear it with a tuxedo. I'm out at any event. I can wear sneakers because sneakers are part of that guy on the right, that Michael Jordan. He made the sneaker. You know what? It's more than a basketball shoe. Mm-hmm. I can rock it. And it says a lot. People look at your shoes and they judge you by the shoes that you're actually wearing, Skip. But when I look at football versus basketball, Skip, here's Brand Jordan athletes in basketball: Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, Luka, CP3, Russell, Carmelo Anthony. And we look at the athletes in football: Kyle Pitts, Devontae Adams, Tyrann Mathieu, Michael Thomas, Le'Veon Bell, Joe Hayden, and Chase Claypool.
Okay.
It's different.
It's different.
It's very different. And the thing is, Skip, I mean, a football signature shoe is not the same. And when a football player switches, shoe companies, Skip, it doesn't have to get the same buzz as that when Kobe left Adidas and went to Nike.
Yep.
Or when one of these guys leaves, one shoe company and goes to another.
Yep.
But I'm happy for him. I love the shoe. I love what he's done. And Skip, it's just, for whatever reason, football, they don't get the endorsement. I mean, Tom Brady did $12 million with all of his endorsements. He's Under Armour, UGG boots, Foot Locker, International Watch Company, IWC, Molecule Mattress, total $12 million. LeBron alone with Nike is 32. KD is 28. Steph Curry is 20. So it's levels to this. But I'm happy for him. I believe I will say, Skip, within 5 years, if he wins a Super Bowl, one Super Bowl, money well spent, Jerry. Money well spent.
Okay. By the way, we don't know exactly how much Dak makes off the field.
Right.
This will enhance it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know if it'll enhance it by a lot, but
Because he got something with the yoga company. He got a mattress.
the last time I checked, he had around a dozen national endorsement deals.
Right.
What did I campaign for? Please, Dak, please take a little hometown discount.
No.
Because you are the quarterback of America's team, and whoever gets to ride that horse gets to ride it into the
That's why you got to maximize
the
it, Skip.
Madison Avenue sunset.
Yeah, you got to
That's-
maximize it.
Okay. Well, that should help you in your negotiations with Jerry. Take a little less money for cap
Can't do that.
purposes so that you can win multiple Super Bowls, as I thought you could from the start.
Can't do that.
Well, he didn't do that
Right.
because he went to quote-unquote war with Jerry Jones back in 2019, and he won the war.
Yeah.
And Jerry admitted at the signing session, you got me.
Because like you, Jerry was stubborn.
Yeah, well, Jerry admitted to the man's face, to number 4's face, right there at the signing press conference. He said, I overpaid you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll buy that. I was glad that he got it done, that Dak is now a Dallas Cowboy, because we were getting closer and closer to one more year and
Right,
gone, right?
right.
Okay, so let's quickly go back to what happened, and this is why I'm dreading next year for Dak Prescott. Okay, so remember 2019 starts. They play 3 bad teams. It was Washington, New York,
And Miami.
They were just bad. You called them garbage teams.
Yeah, they were.
And he put up sensational numbers, and all of a sudden Jerry's saying the deal is imminent. That's what he said after
Right.
the opening game at home. It's imminent, as in days, like we're about
Right.
to get it signed. Well, if it's imminent, then you've agreed on the finances, right? The dollar figures are agreed
Right.
upon. Well, not so fast, Jerry, because the agent Todd France informed him somehow after the 3rd game, our price just went up. Jerry does not like it when you jerk the negotiation rug out from under him. He doesn't play that kind of game. You play by the rules of negotiation, and if you have a handshake, you stand by your handshake. So they went to Cold War at that point. And remember, Dak is betting on himself. Everybody in the media, everybody loved. He's betting on himself against Jerry Jones. Over the last 13 games, he was ranked by Pro Football Focus the 15th best quarterback in the league. They went 5-8. And do I have to remind you of all the disasters at New Orleans, Green Bay at home, at Jets, your favorite all-time game, with they lost 24-22.
Yep.
At New England, Buffalo on Thanksgiving, at Chicago on that Thursday night, at Philly for all the marbles, second to last game of the year. Stunk. This is my guy. This is number 4, Dak Prescott. And I'm thinking, wait a second. If you bet on yourself, didn't you lose? And then last year starts early with one really good performance at the Rams, but they lost 20-17. I thought they got a bad call. I thought Michael Gallup got it. Remember, he's called for pushing off.
He
did
pushed
not
out
push
J.
off.
Ram.
Okay, but that was a great throw by Dak Prescott. But then came the Atlanta Miracle. They're down 39-24 with 7 minutes left. It was 29-10 at half, and it took a miracle for them to pull that game out. At Seattle, they fall behind 30-15 and lose. Then Cleveland at home, they fall behind 41-14 with Dak at quarterback, and he was healthy. And then the Giants, they're at home. They fall behind 17-3, and then eventually the worst thing happens. He gets hurt, and he's gone. So now we have to deal with a career-threatening injury. And what did Dak say yesterday in his media session? He said, I want to bury all the talk about the injury. And he said to the media people, I need you guys to help me. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I'm fine with that because it's no excuse. We got to go forward now. And he says he's 100% full speed ahead, right?
Skip, Aaron Rodgers wears Adidas, but what is he known for? State Farm.
Okay.
I mean, so the shoes for football shoes don't. I mean, it doesn't.
Okay.
Skip, it doesn't matter. Nike, Adidas, whatever you wear.
Okay. Here's the point. Next year, Dak Prescott makes $75 million. Next on the list in the entire league happens to be an offensive tackle signed recently by the 49ers, and that's Trent Williams, who's really good, a left tackle. He makes $32.3. He's second on the list as we speak. Third on the list is Tom Brady at $27.5. So next year, Dak Prescott will make $47.5 million more than Tom Brady, who just won his 7th Super Bowl and is an odds-on, at least an odds-on favorite to win the NFC. So the point is, you are making so much money. You got the biggest signing bonus ever. You have the most guaranteed at signing ever. You got the greatest deal in the history of quarterbacks. And again, to your point, will it be outdone as the others start to sign? Sure it will. But you got it. And I'm not totally sure that you earned it because in your last 17 starts, you're 6-11.
Well,
your team hasn't been very
let me ask
good,
you a question.
Still.
He earned it before those starts, and you didn't pay him. So paid him before that. You should have paid him before that.
Okay, I'll buy that. You could have paid him a lot less if you paid him first.
Exactly,
okay?
exactly.
But obviously, Jerry wasn't sold.
Yep.
And the deeper he got into not sold, the more it cost him. But that didn't make him any more sold, no. I don't think, because he flat out told him to his face, I overpaid you.
But Skip,
and it's like, I got caught where I didn't have a choice. I had to overpay you.
And guess what? He still bought the building.
Okay.
Hey, whether he wanted it or not, well, it needs some work done to it. You know, I really don't like, I mean, this and that, I get all that. You still paid for it. So whatever you think of Dak Prescott, you overpaid, you still paid him.
Okay. So he is now a very wealthy young man. Still a young man.
Yep.
But you can't tell me that the pressure hasn't gone through the roof of that stadium. You can't tell me.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, Skip. You don't. For what this young man has gone through in his life, his mom, his brother.
Got that.
I think the football aspect.
But let's just do the football. I got all the rest of it. But look what happened when he bet on himself in 2019 over the last 13 games. Did he rise and shine? No, he did not.
No, your team didn't rise and shine.
Well, I thought he played by his standards, and I was his biggest fan. I thought he played poorly in the last 15 games, overall poorly.
Well, Jerry being stubborn cost himself $32 million because he cost himself $8 million per year than what more he should have got. Because, and I told you, Skip, I kept telling you, I said, Skip, he's not going to take the same amount of money as Jerry Goff and Carson Wentz when they got 2 years left on their deal and he has no years left on his deal. So you got to come to the table automatically offering him more than what they got. You can't say, well, we're going to put you in line with those guys because he wasn't going to take it. And I told you, TF, Todd Friends, going to get that bread.
TF?
TF, going to get that bread. I told you, going to get that bag. He got a whole bag. Hey, then Jack, go get another bag. Since Jerry didn't want to say Black Lives Matter, go get your other bag back there. He pulled out that.
Only silver lining here is that the GOAT of GOATs said, I want you. Jordan said, I want Dak.
That what he said?
Jordan runs the company, but he probably has some say.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan.
Huh? Yeah.
I mean, they got some. Look, they need to stop with this. It used to be, Skip, you had to be somebody. Everybody couldn't just get the shoe. Everybody couldn't have the patent leather shoe like Randy or like the elite level player. Man, now they got guys on special teams. They're the 55th guy on the team, and they got a shoe. How you get a shoe?
Well, does Dak deserve a shoe?
You should be out there in Pony or Spot Build or something.
Yeah.
Why can't everyone get a shoe?
So should Dak be in Pony?
I don't know about the brand Jordan, Skip. Jordan used to be Skip. Jordan, when he let Rip Hamilton them have shoes. He said his shoes were for all stars. His shoes for all NBA players. There's a lot of guys over here that ain't that.
Would Dak be the only quarterback for Jordan Brand?
He might be.
If he weren't playing for America's team? No.
That might,
No. Thank you.
Chris Paul continues to impress in the playoffs, now leading the Suns to a 2-0 series advantage over the Nuggets in the Western semifinal. CP3 finished with 17 points last night, 15 assists, and 0 turnovers. It's the third time in the playoffs he's gone 15-15 with no turnovers, while the rest of the NBA has only done it 3 times in the three-point era. So, Shannon, where does he rank all time?
Skip, his career's not over yet. But right now, Magic is the god. 3 MVPs regular season, 3 final MVPs, 5 rings. He ain't touching that. Steph Curry, 2 regular season MVPs, 3 rings. He's not there. Isaiah, finals MVP, 2 rings. Now we can start. Skip, it's just hard for me to have a guy in the top 5 with no rings and no MVPs. It's just hard for me to go there. Oscar Robertson has a regular season MVP, has 1 ring. AI, 1 ring. Steve Nash, 2 MVPs. So, Skip, I'm going to say he's outside of the top 5 for me. And he's done unbelievable things. But when you look at it, and he's had some really good teams now. Don't make it seem like Chris Paul has always been on bummy teams. Yeah. Because AI took a team that wasn't very good to the NBA Finals.
And won a game.
And won some games. Isaiah was the leader of the team that was battling the Celtics and eventually took down the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept Michael Jordan at bay for a long period of time. So he has to be held in such high regard. So top 3, he's not close to that. So now if you want to, okay, Steve Nash, I can't put him in front of Oscar, and I can't put him in front of AI. I can't. So he's not in my top 5 yet, Skip. So he gets a title. We can come back and have this conversation.
Yep.
But as we sit here today with no regular season MVPs, no final appearances, he can't crack my top 5.
At this moment, as we stand, I'm having a hard time putting in my top 15, Chris Paul.
Top 15?
Yeah, I'll show you in just a second. Because I need more in the postseason, because I've seen it in the regular season, but it's almost Giannis-like. We look at what Chris has done in the regular season. It's spectacular.
Yes.
It's 11 All-Star appearances. 4 times he's won the assist title. 6 times he's won the steals title.
Right.
That'll work. 9 times he's been all defense. Great.
Yep.
And what do you have to show for it in the post?
Right.
Well, you got to one conference final, and you pulled your hamstring right on cue when you were up 3-2 with James Harden in Houston, and you got your team got blown away in Game 6 and 7. So it is crucial for Chris's legacy that he finish off the Nuggets, that he beat the Clippers in the next round, and get to the Nets.
Beat Utah.
No, Clippers next round. You know it, and I know it. That's
Okay. You're going to be disappointed,
It's a foregone conclusion.
Okay.
But the point is, I would love to see Chris get to the finals, and I think he's going to play the Nets. Who knows? But that would be great theater, because he would take the young Suns to the finals, and we'd see what we saw. But so far, look in the big picture of Chris Paul's career so far. Seriously, I think he's more famous for the State Farm commercials than he is for his basketball achievements in the postseason.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing these commercials, and they are all-time great. Seriously, I know Aaron's great at his version of the State Farm, but Chris has been doing them for almost 10. I think it started in 2012.
Okay.
And he's great as Cliff Paul, and now he's got the new ones with Sabrina. Now you see him, now you don't. They're just fun. They're good. They work.
Right.
He's great he's very natural. I wouldn't have guessed he'd be that great at these commercials given his post-game interviews. But the point is he better than Magic or Stockton or Jason Kidd or Isaiah? No. Steph? No, you just detailed it, so now we're 5 deep. Oscar, he was a point guard. I know he's a point forward, but he was a point guard. He won a championship. Is he better than Kyrie? Kyrie won a championship.
Right.
I can't put him above Kyrie. Well, you left out Walt Frazier. Well, he won a championship. He was all-time
Yeah,
great,
he was.
right? And what about Gary Payton? He got to a finals.
Right.
Was he not the glove on both defense and
What about Russ?
I don't have him in.
Okay.
I'll give you Chris Paul over Russ and Dame right now. Okay. I think he's done more than those two have, but it's mostly in the regular
What about Jerry
season.
West?
Well, again, was he a true point guard?
Jerry was Melon there, too.
He was kind of a 2, but he averaged 7 assists.
Right.
Well, and he was really good in the finals, as you well know, because he won an MVP for losing the finals.
Right. The first year they gave it out, 1969.
Is he better than Tony Parker? And I'm a Spurs fan from way back, but seriously,
I think he's better than Tony.
I don't. Well, he's not more decorated because Tony Parker was the point guard of a dynasty.
Do you believe Chris Paul, if he'd had Manu and had Timmy, you think Chris Paul could have done what Tony Parker did?
Maybe. I hope so. But Tony Parker was really good. And you can argue he was a scoring point guard because he could get you 30 when you needed it, too. What about Rondo? Is he better? Well, Rondo has 2 rings now, right? I would take Rondo's career in the postseason over Chris's career in the postseason.
Well, he's definitely not, and I think Chris Paul's been phenomenal. And you touched on some of his accomplishments: the All-NBA, the All-Star games, the assist wins, the steals titles. But Magic, Isaiah, Steph Curry, Oscar, and Iverson. That would be
Is Iverson a point guard? Because I'm never sure. But I think you have to call him a point guard, even though he was the ultimate scoring point guard.
So for those are my 5, and I can't have Chris Paul in front of those without having gone to an NBA final, Skip. Without having an NBA. Now maybe I would put him up there in front of Iverson had he gone to an NBA finals, but he's never gone. Iverson did do that. Iverson did win an MVP.
I got it.
And he averaged and did win scoring titles, Skip.
Yeah, and forgive me for even bringing this up, but I don't know what to do with Bob Cousy because he's before my time.
Right.
I don't know, but he led the league in assists 8 straight years.
Yes.
But I don't know. He was Houdini of the hardwood.
Right.
You know, he could dribble like Goose Tatum.
Yes.
You know, like, okay, we get it, but we don't get it.
Right.
You know, I don't know where to put him on this list.
Right.
But I don't even put him in my top 15. But Chris right now could vault.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He needs to vault. He needs a finals appearance.
With a ring, does he crack the top 5?
Ooh.
With one ring, can he get into the top 5? Magic is not going anywhere. Steph Curry is not going anywhere. Isaiah is not going anywhere. I think they stand the test of time and stay in the top. Now, if Dame Lillard comes out and gets a couple, because they, you know, it's like I believe Dame was a 2, but they list him at point. So,
yeah, we could start having the top 5 conversation with a ring.
Right.
If he wins this year's championship.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't even done anything in a conference final yet. He played in the first sort of 4.5 games, right?
Skip, the thing is for me is that Isaiah gets so overlooked, but you know how good Isaiah was.
I do know how.
Isaiah was. And people, because, you know, he played in the era with the bigs dominating. Mm-hmm. It's not like it is not. Guards get their credit. Steph gets his credit. Dame gets his credit. Other guards, Bradley Beal, they get their credit. But the guards didn't get their credit unless you were Magic. Mm-hmm. But Magic was 6'9". It was a big dominated era, and Isaiah did more than hold his own.
Okay, so. Also in my top 15, at the very bottom of my 15, maybe 15th on my list, is Steve Nash, and you brought him up.
Yes.
But he did win back-to-back MVPs.
He did do that.
I can't argue him out of that with Chris Paul.
Right.
So the point is, Chris still has a lot of work to do, but he's got some career. He's up there in age, but he's playing at a high level.
I think we both can agree that shoulder's 100% now.
It sure looks like it. He actually missed a couple of, for him, bunnies in the lane, these little pull-ups where he had it just wide open. And he said after the game, but he still made 6 out of 10.
But then skip the 3. He came back and back-to-back, hit back-to-back threes, and basically that closed the game.
So to go 15, 15, and 0, it's just spectacular. He's the only one who's done it more than once, and he's done it 3 times.
Yeah, he's 38 assists and 2 turnovers in his last 3 games.
Okay, finish it off. Here we go.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to win. He's going to have to, you know, get a ring to be in the top to be considered in the top 5.
Well, this year feels so wide open.
It ain't wide open.
What are you talking about?
The Nets.
The Nets? I love the Nets.
Oh, you would take?
Is James even going to be able to play?
I don't care. So would you take? So you would take the Suns if they met the Nets?
I'd give him a shot anyway. If James is there, I give him no shot. Is James going to come back?
A shot of what? Tequila?
No.
Give him 3-4 shots. They're not beating the Nets.
Well, just with 2 of the 3. Well, I think you just cinched it then. Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet, right? Well, you just said it. They're not beating Kevin Durant because he's that guy.
So what Kyrie do? Kyrie just standing there, just looking?
He goes along for a good ride.
Don't do that, Skip. Yeah. Don't do that man like that. Now, you know that man's spectacular.
He's spectacular. He won LeBron a ring.
Oh, there you go. See?
Thank you.
This weekend, the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show is on Fox. On Saturday, it's the Masters Agility Championship beginning at 5 Eastern. Then Sunday at 7, Best in Show. Catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Kawhi and the Clippers will try to avoid going down 0-2 for the second straight series tonight against the Jazz. Paul George said he will be more decisive in Game 2 after going 4 of 17 in their 3-point loss. But Donovan Mitchell and company find themselves as 3-point favorites, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, who you got? Who wins tonight? How you feeling?
I got the Clippers, Jen. I think they even this thing up at 1 game apiece. Look, if they go down 2-0, I don't think it's over. I mean, obviously, we saw them come back last year, losing the first 2 games at home last week. The first 2 games at home. They don't want to get in that type of hole again, though. So I think they even this up at 1-1. I'm expecting Kawhi Leonard to have a big night. He is the best player in this series, and I think he's going to come out and show it. The last time he had a bad game, last series, his worst game, he had 20 points in game 5. They lost. He hit 1 3-pointer. He followed that up with a 45-point game, 5 threes. It was his best game of the series. I'm expecting something similar tonight. Look, Utah gives you that mid-range shot. You know, they protect the rim and the paint with Rudy Gobert, and that mid-range is there, and we know that's Kawhi's bread and butter. So I think he's going to be big in the mid-range tonight and have a big game. Paul George, I also expect to have a big game. I'm a little less confident in PG than I am in Kawhi, but I do think he'll come out and play big. I think he figured something out in that fourth quarter of the last game when he scored 13 points. Like I said, with Gobert in the paint, George likes to attack the rim, be aggressive, and I think he was trying to figure out, do I go at this guy or do I shoot the mid-range? I think he was indecisive. He even admitted that. So I think he figured something out, and he gives more support to Kawhi. So I'm expecting like 36 points from Kawhi and about 27 from Paul George. I also don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to have as big of a game. Now, I believe after this series is over, win or lose, he's going to be viewed now as a true superstar. He's playing at that level. But look, at some point, when you've got the best or two of the best wing defenders in the league, and that's your reputation, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you got to get tired of perimeter opponents going for 40-plus on you. Right. Luka did it, 3 times?
And a 39-pointer.
Spider does it in game 1. Yeah. I mean, they giving up 40 like it's nothing. So
right.
I think they'll be better defensively. And he'll have a good game, but nowhere near. I don't think he'll shoot 50%, and I think they'll hold him way below what he did in game 1. So I think a more physical Clippers team comes out and evens up the series.
But even that be the case, think about this, Chris. In the last game, only Donovan Mitchell and Derek Favors shot 50%. Do you believe Joe Ingles will be 3 of 14? Do you believe Bogdan will be 6 of 14? Do you believe Royce O'Neal, do you believe they will struggle shooting from the field like they did last time? Now, they made 17 threes. I got 2 cases from old Skip. Sucker Skip, he don't know it yet, that they're going to make at least 20 threes. You seem really convinced that Paul George, but Paul George last game, game 5, 7 of 15, 6 of 15, 5 of 15, 4 of 17. I don't know, 10, he has 10 playoff games in which he shot less than 25%, which is the 3rd most in the shot clock era. What makes you so convinced that Paul George has found something or is just going to miraculously snap out of what he's been doing since he became playoff P?
He's got to. He's got no choice. He's got no choice. I hear you. That's astonishing. I actually didn't know that stat. 10 playoff games, shooting worse than 25%. Yep. But I'm tired of seeing him in the post-game press conference with his head down and his cornrows glistening, looking at the sheet trying to explain what happened. I think he's going to have a big game tonight. I'm not saying he's going to be great the rest of the series, but tonight I'm expecting him to play big.
So, quick point of order back to the reference to Sucker Skip. Sucker Skip is now up like 45 cases of Diet Mountain Dew on this guy. I've been suckered to win 45 cases. I don't know how. I just lucked into it. And tonight, I might luck into some more, dude, because I've had to build a 4th swimming pool in my backyard just to fill it with all the Diet Mountain Dew that I have won.
Get it back.
Thank you very much. Now to my friend Chris Broussard. For the first time in the history of this show, I agreed with every point Chris made in his opening soliloquy, and I hope that my partner, Shannon Sharpe, listened and just allowed every point to wash over him, because that's what's going to happen to you tonight. The Clippers are going to win game 2. You even gave me the 3.5 points.
No, it's 3 points. Fox Bear said 3.
No, you said 3.5.
No.
I don't care what they say now. When we made the bet, it was 3.5.
You for really?
Can we check the tape? You gave me 3.5. I got the half.
You said Fox Bear said that it was 3.5.
Well, that's what I was told before the show started.
No, Fox Bear Jenny just said 3.
Okay, well,
It's
It
changed.
was.
Yeah.
You just went down. But
So-
the way betting
how it
works, if
works.
you know how it works, when you make the bet, it's whatever the line is at that moment.
you
and at that moment,
suckered me.
I didn't sucker you. It's just what the line was at that moment. And you said it out loud. You said, I give you 3.5 points.
Okay.
Thank you. Now back to what Chris said. I could not agree more with every point, starting with Kawhi Leonard will be the best player on the floor tonight. If Donovan Mitchell, and I have nothing but love for him, if he scores 32 in the second half, including 16 in the third and 16 in the fourth, I will tip my proverbial cap to you tomorrow because they will not be able to overcome that. But he will not do that.
He's going to have 25 in the first half tonight.
Okay, I tried to bet you 2 more cases that he won't have 45-plus points.
No.
Okay, well, so he's going to have 25 and then 15 in
And
the
then that's
second
when the
half?
other guys will take over.
Okay, the other guys will take over. I got it. Kawhi Leonard is going to take this game over because he was literally running on empty in game 1. And yet, Chris, I pointed out to Shannon that, let's see, did what happened to the Clippers in game 1, did it resemble what happened to Denver at Phoenix in the first 2 games? No, because they got blown off the floor. Did the Clippers get blown off the floor the way Milwaukee did at Brooklyn the first 2 games? No, they didn't, because everybody who wants the Clippers to just go away and leave us alone, starting with this man who's the president of the Clippers hate club.
You're
right?
not going to do that. You're going to send them away.
Let's look carefully at what happened down the stretch of game 1 at Utah 2 nights ago. The Utah Jazz went up with 5:22 left. They went up 10 in their own building. And guess what? Playoff P rose and shone. I don't know. He went from pandemic P to playoff P, and he scored 7 points and assisted on a 9th and a 10th point, 8th and whatever that would be, 9th and 10th point. Yeah. So the point is that the last 9 points of the game belonged to the guy I've called occasionally George Paul.
No pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was pressure because they got right back in the game. They outscored Utah down the stretch 16-9 and had the ball in their hands. They didn't take a shot that they should have taken. I give you that. But they had a chance to tie the game that they were down 10 in with 5:22 left. That's called playoff backbone. You think that Paul George's guts are made of tissue paper, right? You have ridiculed him, and yet I saw playoff P right before my very eyes in Utah. And you don't think that will carry over into game 2 tonight? Because it will.
You feel comfortable with that. Now, when they had a 13-point lead and he was missing shots, he missed 12. Scott, I don't know if you know this, Chris. He missed 12 of his first 14 shots. He missed 12 of his first 14.
Well, Utah missed 20 in a row.
And spotted y'all 13.
Well, we spotted him missing 12 of his first 14, right? We spotted you.
Skip, Bogdanovich, Ingles, they're not going to shoot that bad. O'Neal.
Marcus Morris went 1 for 9 from 3. Sometimes
He's
I think
capable of
the
that.
Clippers go as he goes.
And Big Rudy.
The same Marcus Morris who made 7 of 9 threes in Game 7 against Dallas went 1 for 9.
Chris, can I ask you a question? I want one more question before you go. Let that have been LeBron James had the last second shot, and he passed it up. What would you think my counterpart would have said? Because Kawhi had it, Paul George had it, and passed it to Marcus Morris, and Rudy Gobert said, I know they would go pass it to him because they don't want that pressure on the last second.
Well, we know, I don't even have to answer your first question about LeBron. I mean, we know that answer. But, Shannon, you keep saying that the other guys, and Ingles is a good shooter, obviously. Bogdanovich, they can shoot. So you keep thinking, look, Utah's going to shoot like they typically do, and they're going to be hot. Yep. But same thing goes for the Clippers. The Clippers were the best three-point shooting team in the league. And so you got to think they're going to get hot as well. Reggie Jackson has had some big moments in these playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big game, too.
He done had them all. Now, come on now. You expect Reggie Jackson to play like he did in Game 6 and Game 7?
Not every night, but here or there. Here or there. That's what I expect from Reggie Jackson.
And
I expect a couple big games from him.
Do you expect Mike Conley to come back at some point in time? Now, we did do that without Mike Conley.
I'm thinking Game 3. Yeah, I'm thinking Game 3. I mean, he's questionable for tonight, right?
And you get nothing in the paint. You better not come in the paint. Paul George Rudy said, I better not see Paul George even look at the paint. I'm going to throw it up in the stands.
I saw Kawhi go right up through Rudy Gobert at least twice and just lay it in off the glass because he ain't afraid of no stifle.
And you saw what he tried to do, tried to get physical with Rudy. Rudy came to sit the pick and Kawhi ran into him. You saw that.
I did. Loved it.
Rudy said, nah.
Message sent.
Stifle Tower said, I will not have it.
And by the way, for the record, point of order, I crushed Kawhi Leonard for not taking the last shot twice the other night. I do not think he's a great three-point shooter. He shoots too many line drives. I wish Paul George had taken that shot because he had the hotter hand and he has the better arc, the better rainbow three-point shot. And I think he could have gotten his shot off better. But one of those two, starting with Kawhi, should have taken the shot. And I blasted him, and now you're saying I only blast LeBron. You just check the tape.
You just saw Paul George pass it to Terrence Mann in Game 5. You just saw him in 2018 pass the ball to C.J. Miles and talk about C.J. got to give me that ball back. So what makes you think he was going to take that shot?
In Game 5.
Yeah, when he passed the ball to Terrence Mann. Remember, he got it on the break, and he passed it to Terrence Mann, and you say Terrence Mann got to take it up stronger?
Terrence Mann had a layup.
Whoa, not a layup. When LeBron James passed the ball to George Hill for a layup.
It was a layup.
Terrence Mann had a dunk.
You just said Terrence Mann had a layup.
Well, he didn't pass it to him like an assist pass. He just gave it up to him. He just gave it up at half court. It wasn't like an assist pass.
LeBron passed the ball to George Hill, Chris, for a layup.
Down the lane. Down the lane. LeBron passed up a 15-foot jump shot over Steph Curry. Are you kidding me? How can you defend that? It was the most pathetic moment of his playoff life. He scored 49 points. He's got the hottest hand from distance I've ever seen him in any playoff game. And he gets the switch on to tiny little Steph, and he doesn't want to take the shot because he doesn't trust himself. Because guess what? It was a do-or-die shot because they were down one, and if you miss it, you lose.
And the guy named Playoff P passed the ball to a guy named Terrence Mann in his first playoff game.
He just gave it to him on the break. It's like a fast break. It's like they got the numbers.
So he was going for what? A layup. The same thing George Hill was going for, a layup.
I know, but he had to dribble into the layup. He drove it right past. He blew right by Luka, who guards nobody.
Exactly.
Your guy. The next Larry Bird, who guards nobody.
2.0.
Way to go. Yeah, 2-point fourth quarter is what he is.
Hey, Chris, I tell you what. You know what, Chris? Since you all happy and over there kid about that, I bet you a dozen beignets.
Oh, my God.
A dozen.
Oh, on tonight's game?
Tonight's game.
Oh, it's on. Yes.
Got it.
But he gets 3
real
points.
beignet from New Orleans.
Yeah. From Cafe Del Mo.
All right.
Huh?
So I'll be having beignets and
Shannon and look, I was with you. I picked the Lakers in the West. All right, so I was with you on that. But I think you really know in your heart of hearts the Clippers are the better team than the Jazz.
No.
You know they're more talented than the Jazz. But I think you just gotta you can't stand to see another LA team go far. So you want them out. Misery loves company. You want them out so badly. You're going against your real instincts. The Clippers being better.
When you look at Donovan Mitchell have the third highest scoring playoff average behind Kevin Durant and LeBron James, 28.1. And the difference is between this series and Dallas is that these guys can make shots early and they can make shots late. Dallas only made shots early. You watch what I tell you, you're going to be surprised.
How many of those points did he score against?
NBA, I can't wait.
Yeah, how many did he score last year in the bubble against Denver? I should call him Enver because there's no D in Denver, right?
You remember he had those 2 50-point games, had a 57-point game too. So we know he's more than capable of having.
Then what happened? They were up 3-1, and then what happened?
Oh, kind of like what just happened to you guys against the very team that came back. Denver was the only team that's in NBA history to come back in the same playoffs twice from 3-1 deficits.
You always tell me you have to update your resume, and the Clippers just updated theirs with the greatest comeback in playoff history.
They updated. They would be undefeated. Had Donovan Mitchell played game 1, Memphis wouldn't have won no game. They'd have been swept. We'd have been sitting high and dry. But we got something for you tonight, though.
Memphis. So it's Memphis versus...
With D-Wade on the sideline giving D-Mitch them instructions.
Is he going to play tonight?
No, he don't need to play. Okay. He got Donovan handling that. Donovan handling that for us.
Okay. Well, Donovan said, third quarter, he said they'll call it quits.
You heard it. Chris, did you hear what Donovan said?
Tonight.
Donovan said, if we come out there early, they'll get ready for game 2. So everybody know what y'all front running.
Fodder, though. That's fodder. That's fodder for the Clippers.
Yes,
Did he lie? Everybody know they front running. Normally Paul George hitting threes and he backing up like he an 18-wheeler. He doing the bird. He flying all over the stadium like a hawk from a perch.
He nearly beat him
and
down.
now all of a sudden, he up there, head down, looking at it. I told her, I'm tired of looking at them cornrows. Yeah, we know you got it fresh braided. You got it fresh braided up to go to the game, but I don't want to see that. Look at the camera. 4 of 17 self. 5 of 15.
7 of the last 9 points.
They bailed him out.
13 in the fourth quarter.
You know what? They bailed him out. Kawhi and Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris saved Kawhi's legacy. Marcus Morris saved Kawhi's legacy. That Game 7 performance and that Game 3 saved his legacy, Chris. You know that. But Paul George got let.
Pathetic.
Reggie Jackson.
We miss you, LeBron. Where are you?
He in the lab.
Well, as we've been following, Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown up to Packers' mandatory minicamp, and it might speed up the process of Jordan Love not only getting his first career start, but also first NFL snaps. The second-year QB had a bumpy start to minicamp, but bounced back yesterday and felt confident moving forward when asked if he would be ready to start Week 1. Take a listen.
100%. Obviously, this is a time where I'm getting a lot of extremely valuable reps that I might not have been getting in a normal circumstance. So I'm going to take it day by day, and but yeah, that's what I'm here for. I was drafted here to play quarterback, so I'll definitely be ready Week 1.
Going to have to be ready for the media as well. Shannon, how good would the Packers be if Jordan Love is the starter this season?
Well, I expected him to say that. Skip, I don't really put a whole lot of stock in the guys playing in shorts and T-shirts, playing with a bunch of guys that they know. I want to see him go against guys that he doesn't know that's really out there trying to make the team, and they're trying to tear his head off and his receiver's head off. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think what makes this team, and you know how you can have great pieces around, offense, defense, but it's the quarterback that makes it all happen. The throws that Aaron is able to make, the relationship that he has with Devontae Adams, with Lazard, and those receivers, Tanyan. Jordan Love doesn't, and that's built up over years, Skip, over time. And I just don't believe that Jordan Love can come in and they're gonna pick right up with it. I get it; it's an extra game, but I would probably have Minnesota or Chicago to win that division, especially if Justin Fields starts from day one. But Skip, Aaron Rodgers was 70%. He led the NFL in completion percentage, 48 touchdowns, the highest graded. You love Pro Football Focus. Aaron Rodgers was the highest graded player, and it wasn't close. And the leader in playoff wins above replacements. I love the confidence that the kid has. He's supposed to say that about himself. Yeah, I'll be ready. I'm getting reps that I wouldn't normally get had Aaron been here. But if I think that they're going to go somewhere with this kid at quarterback next year, if Aaron isn't there, nah, I don't see that happening.
No playoffs?
No playoffs.
Really? Interesting. So here's what I know about the Green Bay Packers. They've had enough talent around Aaron Rodgers to go to back-to-back NFC championship games, both of which they lost, correct? One in which they got blown out, and the other in which it came down to first and goal at the 8, 3 straight plays. Aaron went miss, right? And the young coach, Matt LaFleur, said, I've seen enough, I punt, right? Kick the field goal. Like, I've given up. I'm going to punt the, I was talking figuratively, like I give up.
Right.
So speaking of Pro Football Focus, yesterday they came out with a ranking of play callers in the National Football League. And guess who was number 1 on that list? Young
Kyle Shanahan.
Matt LaFleur. In fact, Kyle Shanahan didn't make the top 6 on that list.
Man, they're crazy. It's stuff like that. Skip.
Well, there you go. Okay. But you just used them to use Aaron's grade.
No, I'm
so
just
is
saying.
that a bunch of phony balls?
I just used it because you love it.
Oh.
No. I don't need Pro Football Focus. The guy had 48-4. That Pro Football Focus, they tell me nothing about the 48-4 with 70% completion percentage.
All I need is the one number that matters the most. He is 1-4 in NFC Championship games, and he was lucky to win the one.
No, he wasn't
at
lucky.
Chicago.
But Skip, here's the thing.
Caleb Haney.
And guess what? Aaron Rodgers say, man, I was stepping off a cliff. But my 2 years before y'all drafted him, I had thrown 50 touchdowns with 6 picks. And I've taken the team to the NFC Championship game, and y'all say I was stepping off a cliff.
Well, it was because his stats were plummeting in QBR and completion percentage. They went down for 4 straight years. Look it up.
So, in other words, in 3 years, Aaron Rodgers, in 3 years, that man has thrown 98 touchdowns with 10 picks. And they talking about we need to get a new quarterback. The reason why we can't win is the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers said, get me up out of here. Brian Gutekunst, Mark Murphy.
Okay.
Deuces.
So, last year, Aaron Rodgers benefited from having, they were tied for the most, but they had the most Pro Bowlers. The Green Bay Packers did. So, he wasn't doing it with mirrors. He had a whole lot of help. Pro Football Focus ranked Devontae Adams the #1 receiver in pro football, and I'll buy that because I think he is. I think he's lived up to that.
So what do you think Devontae Adams? Okay, Aaron Rodgers not the quarterback. Jordan Love the quarterback. What do you think? You think Devontae Adams is going to be a top 5 ranked receiver?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, actually, Gutekunst, for all the heat that he's taken over the way he's treated Aaron Rodgers, he's drafted very well. If you just look at his track record as a drafter, he's been very good. And Jordan Love was highly rated. I didn't watch him, so I don't really know his game. But they traded up to get him.
Right.
Right? And
seems like they valued him more than everybody else did because he was already at 26.
Okay, maybe. But unfortunately for the kid, he got drafted in the pandemic year. So he got no preseason. He was stuck all year behind Aaron. Aaron's going to get all the snaps. And remember, Aaron was stuck behind Brett Favre, but they had to completely rebuild his delivery, and it took 3 years before he was ready.
Well, that's what you get scout team for.
Okay.
When you go against when you're going against the #1 defense you working, that's when you work on your craft. That's what I did.
Okay.
I was a scout team guy. I put that work in on the #1 defense.
Okay.
Got my chance.
Well, he's putting the work in, and fortunately for him, Aaron Rodgers decided not to show up for this minicamp.
That's what we did. We say, you know what? Who cares about 100 bands?
Yep. Well, thank you very much, because Jordan Love finally benefited from something that Aaron Rodgers did or said. And in this case, it allowed Jordan Love to actually have the stage to himself. That's the first time I've ever seen him interviewed. I didn't know what he sounded like, how he handled himself. And I give him an A for just the body language and the confidence with which he answered those questions. I was impressed.
That was the first thing. And do you heard that knocking? That was his knees.
Really?
I sure hope Aaron come back. I mean,
really?
I don't want to start opening day in Green Bay after what I got to follow with Aaron Rodgers. It
would be some tough shoes to fill. We saw Cam try to fill the winged cleats of the GOAT in New England last year, and he had a hard time because his QBR was 30th of 33.
But Cam is an MVP. Cam has been in that moment. Cam will be better. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about it. We got cases on that about Tampa, about New England's record, too. We already got some cases on that, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But anyway, you're going to find out. Skip, okay, if that's the case, you took the guy, you traded up to get him, you got him. Why are you still trying to hold on to Aaron? Let him go.
He's under contract for 3 more years.
I don't get this. Like a relationship. You don't want me. Let somebody else have me. Let somebody else love me. You don't want me? You told me you don't want me.
No, we just don't want to give you a brand new, big, guaranteed contract.
Okay, then fine. Let me go with somebody that's going to love me.
Yep.
That's going to want to go to the movie with me and go to concerts.
Green Bay's got some love because they got some Jordan Love, and I think he can play.
Okay.
And I think they would definitely make the playoffs next year with Jordan Love. They wouldn't go anywhere. They could win that division with Jordan Love.
How will Rey Mysterio respond after Roman Reigns' vicious attack on his son Dominic? Has the head of the table finally gone too far? It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
LeBron's MVP campaign fell short due to injury, but he was still able to continue one impressive streak. He received a single fifth-place MVP vote, which means that he's received at least one vote for MVP in every single one of his 18 seasons in the league. Shannon, did he deserve the fifth-place vote?
How did it make you feel? 18 years, and somebody said this man is an MVP.
Do you have a vote?
No, I don't. I need to get one. They need to give me one.
How do you not?
Because how in
At
good
this point.
conscience could you give him a 5th place vote this year?
Derrick Rose got a first place vote.
That's because he had all the fan vote. He got the cumulative fan vote, and that gave him 1.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. How does a man that had the cumulative fan vote finish 33rd in All-Star voting but somehow get an MVP? But we'll talk about that later today. Skip, look. I just think the thing is that when you look at it, and I know a guy that played 15 years, and he only got an MVP vote in 13 of those 15. I know a guy. I ain't gonna call his name. We don't need to mention his name.
We know who he is.
We don't know. You don't know anything who I'm
He's
talking
the
about.
goat of goats.
I couldn't tell. Somebody didn't think he was the GOAT for 2 years. Skip, why you do this? All you try to do is try to undermine the guy. You know the guy was the MVP frontrunner until that one fateful Saturday.
He was not. I told you the year before I would have given him the MVP. In the bubble year, I give him that.
So when he got injured, he was not the MVP frontrunner.
Heck no.
Who was?
I don't know. I can't remember what that.
Because you remember,
I think Embiid was.
No, Joel Embiid was already out.
You sure?
I'm 100.
Okay.
So it was us. It was our MVP to lose, and then the one Solomon Hill rolled on his ankle, diving on a loose ball on a Saturday at game 30.
How can you make a case for this man being MVP this past regular season when without Anthony Davis, he went 1-7 against playoff teams?
Skip, you make it
1-7 against playoff teams by himself alone.
Skip.
The quote-unquote MVP LeBron James went 1-7 versus teams that were going to make the playoffs.
Skip, you make it seem like he got 10 first-place votes. He got 1 vote.
How can you even give him the 5th? In good conscience.
Easy.
I want this man outed, or woman. I don't know who voted. It could be.
Whoa. Voting
Outed.
that's privileged information.
I want it out there.
Well, no, you don't get to tell you. We don't get to ask you who you voted for.
You can if you declare it yourself. So I'm calling upon whoever that person
That's
was
none of your business,
to declare it
That's
themselves.
personal. That's personal.
No, well, it's not. You
He
can put it out
deserved
there.
it. 25. This is what before he got 25-7, basically 25-8-8. Before he missed 8 weeks, and he still averaged 25-7-7. 17 straight years with
How
at
many
least
assists
25.
did he average the season before when he led the league in assists?
Skip.
10.
Okay.
So he dropped 2 assists a game. That's a lot.
Let me ask you a question. Was Schroeder on the team? No. Was AD healthy? Yes. Okay, then come on, Skip. You know how this works.
So 25 a game, that's second lowest of his career. And you're making a case for MVP?
Yes,
Really?
because he was asked to do different things.
Really?
What about that defense? You see the defense that we were playing? Roman.
better.
Oh, it ain't no better. We were number 1.
Your team was number 1.
Where were we?
Okay.
Our defensive rating was higher than Paul George and Kawhi.
My favorite LeBron stat is always the one that matters so much that you completely dismiss and try to devalue because it completely undercuts your case as the GOAT, and that is free throw shooting. They're called free throws for a reason. You get to stand at the line by yourself. It's for free, and you get to shoot it, and it goes in, and you get a point.
Has he ever shot 80%?
He shot 69.8% this year from the free throw line. That's not even 70%. While all the greats were all 85 to 90.
So because LeBron can't shoot free throws, he's not historically a transcendent great player.
Well, he's a great player, but he's not the GOAT, and he won the MVP this year.
No, that's not what.
Nobody can be the MVP unless you're Shaquille O'Neal, which he's not. You can't shoot 69.7% as the 2 guard on the Lakers and be the MVP.
I just asked you a simple question. Because he shot less than 70%, is he not great?
Sure, he's great, but he wasn't the MVP this year.
He wasn't. He didn't win, but he got a vote.
How do you defend 1-7 against playoff teams without AD?
You see what you did?
1-7. I didn't do anything. I just said that's the stat.
What happened is that we're so used to LeBron's greatness, and he's been great for such a long time.
Yeah.
That it's like Skip. If I only give you these great meals, I have one bad meal, and now you want to try to close my restaurant down. The man had one bad stretch, and now you want to dismiss it.
Even Shannon Sharpe, when he saw he got 1 5th-place vote, cringed and said, "Ooh, that's embarrassing."
I'm upset because Solomon Hill stopped us from getting the MVP in year 18.
Oh.
Way to go, Solomon. You're betting on him now because you got the Hawks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mixed emotions.
I'm betting on Trey, Ice Trey.
Okay. He was cold the other night.
LeBron will be switching back to his number 6 next season. It's the same number he wore during his 4 years with the Heat, and also the same number he wears in the newest Space Jam movie. Oh, I am ready for that. Shannon, why do you think he made the switch?
Smart. You know, they got a bunch. They got the 23 in Cleveland. They got the 23 in the Lakers.
Yeah.
They got the 6 in Miami. I'm gonna get a whole new influx. Nah, y'all gonna get that 6 Lakers. That's brilliant marketing. You remember what Kobe did? Kobe was number 8, went to 24. When Jordan came back, what did he come back in, Skip? 45. You see how he did that? That's how my guy be thinking.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this is all about a Jordan wannabe named LeBron James starring in Space Jam 2, in which he will wear number 6 for the Toon Squad.
Yeah.
And he wants to market the movie just to make sure people watch the movie because nobody's going to care about LeBron.